Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday morning. I'm meteorologist Tom Schmidt. Today is March 5th, 2025, 15 days away from spring. We are getting close to the big day. March 20th this year is springtime. This week, to account for spring, is also going to be Severe Weather Preparedness Week, and today marks day 3. So we've already learned about how to receive warnings and information. Now we're going to be learning about tornado safety. We had lightning safety yesterday, had some storms rumble through on your Tuesday as well, ironically. And for the Wednesday, it is now time to focus on tornado safety. So, Missouri averages around 35 tornadoes each year, all right? Now, this past year was a little bit more active for us. Okay, we did end up seeing about we saw over 100. We saw 105 tornadoes, actually, across the state of Missouri last year. So very active year for 2024 season. Average about 35, saw 105 tornadoes for last year. Now, Arkansas averages a similar amount. They average about 37 tornadoes every season. And last year they came in above normal, but much less than Missouri, with 44 tornadoes being reported for 2024. Now, these tornadoes from last year, they did result in about 5 fatalities across the Ozarks. And in the Ozarks, narrowing it down to just our coverage area, southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, that total came out to about 61 tornadoes out of the 105 in Missouri and 43 down in Arkansas. All right, so what you want to do in tornado preparedness is to have a plan in place. And so it needs to start off with just having what we call a tornado kit ready to go. Now, this kit should include a first aid kit, maybe some first aid supplies, some water, a radio. That could be a NOAA weather radio. Those are great to have in case communication goes down. Radios usually still work during that time. You want a phone charger and typically a flashlight. Next, what you'll be looking for is where do you want to go? That's always important, right? Tornado starts to form. You want to know where to go before the storm strikes. So have a plan in place there. If you're staying in your house, know that underground is best. But something else you can also do is find as many walls between you and the tornado as possible. All right, so no windows in your room. Okay, when you're taking shelter, you could also get some blankets to cover yourselves with, or a mattress for protection. A bicycle helmet is always good for the kiddos as well. And of course, a basement is best, but if you don't have that basement, again, a good secondary option would be for find a hallway, a closet, a bathroom, just anywhere that's not having an exterior wall. You want to put those walls between you and the tornado, as many as you can, for your tornado safety. So there you go, some tips there to keep you informed of what's going to be happening. And to help you put your plan in place today at 11 o'clock, there's going to be a tornado drill. This is the 2025 annual tornado drill for the state of Missouri and for Kansas. That's happening today at 11 o'clock. The sirens will sound, and your weather radios will also go off today at 11 o'clock. Now, what the Weather Service used to do is they used to actually send those alerts to your phones. And so your phones would go crazy as well during these test sessions. They quit doing that a couple years ago. Too complicated, caused too much confusion. But now that you will hear the sirens today, 11 o'clock, Wednesday, March 5th, and weather radios will also go off, as well as seeing the keys come across on your television broadcasts and your radio broadcasts as well. So that's coming up for today to help you prepare for tornado season. So we're not there yet. We haven't had any tornadoes yet in Missouri, but it's on our mind. We had one round of strong storms come through yesterday, so we're getting into that spring season as time goes on. All right, so much of the country has been dealing with a large dynamic spring system for us here, and it's pretty big. I mean, it's a big storm. It covers it's over 1,000 miles all the way from the Gulf of America down in the Gulf Coast all the way up into parts of Canada. That's the same storm, that huge big swirl there, the comma being very defined here with this storm. Now, this storm has brought a lot of severe weather to the southern plains, to the southeast, and also now this morning to the east coast across North Carolina and parts of southern Virginia. Those storm reports from the last 48 hours show a lot of wind, A lot of wind damage reported from the storms that blew on through. We also had some tornado reports from yesterday across Oklahoma. There was some damage in Oklahoma, as well as some storms went through Dallas. Those are pretty nasty, and also some tornado reports coming out of the Shreveport area. So it hasn't just been for the wind. There has been some tornado activity with that. This storm has also brought a lot of winter weather on the backside. We have some winter weather advisories and a blizzard warning in play now for a big chunk of Iowa. This isn't so much for the amount of snowfall we'll be getting. This is more for the amount of wind. Wind is really crazy with this storm, with winds gusting at times 40 to 50 to 60 miles per hour. There's all your snow. We have a little bit of that snow reaching down here in the Ozarks as well. But the bigger story today is that wind. And so, with all this wind, you may be asking, well, what causes the wind? Where does it come from? Well, it all has to do with pressure. All right, so this storm currently has a sea level pressure of about 980 millibars. That's what we use to gauge your pressure at the sea level. Now, the pressure gradient from central Kansas to the storm's center near St. Louis is about 32 millibars, going from high pressure of 1,012 millibars to that low pressure center of 980 millibars. Now, this change in pressure over that short distance causes wind speeds to increase, leading to very windy conditions behind the storm center. So basically, you tighten that pressure gradient, you decrease the distance between high pressure and low pressure, and your wind speed is just going to be funneled through that channel between those two pressure zones, and you're going to get some windy conditions. And that's what we're dealing with this morning with this storm. All right, so jumping in, looking at lowest pressure of all time here in Missouri was it was quite a while ago. All right, so now Springfield dropped to a sea level pressure of 987.6 millibars with this latest storm, 987.6 millibars. The storm has strengthened as it moved eastward. Now, that was close to the lowest pressure ever experienced in Springfield in the month of March. Okay, so the record lowest pressure recorded in Springfield in March happened back on March 11th, 1923, over 100 years ago, with a sea level pressure of 983 millibars. And so looking at this map up here, you can see southern Missouri, northern Arkansas stuck between a blue line and a purple line. You can see your scale on the left-hand side of the screen, and that puts us between the 988 range to about the 980 millibar range. And again, we had pressures drop to about 983 millibars for a record low on March 11th, 1923. So this latest storm was close to the lowest pressure we've ever recorded in Springfield, hence why it is so windy here. Now, the all-time lowest pressure in Springfield, though, was recorded on February 9th of 1960 with a sea level pressure of 978 millibars. So we are within 10 millibars of sea level pressure of that all-time record low with this last storm that came through. So very, very windy conditions definitely caused by that sharp pressure gradient from west to east. Now, it is moving out. As the storm leaves the area, we're going to see the winds die down, and the rest of the week doesn't look too windy at all. All right, so it is now time for trivia. True or false? Low pressure can cause aches and pains in your joints. Get your answers in. Start to think about it. You always hear about it quite a bit. Get these storm systems to approach, and some people claim that, oh, my elbow hurts, my knee's starting to hurt, oh, I can feel it in my hip again. Is there any truth to that? Turns out, yes, there is. It is true. Low pressure allows for your joints to expand. This slightly results in more aches and pains in your joints, particularly for people with arthritis. So you got to remember, when you have regular pressure, that pressure is higher versus with low pressure. So when you have high pressure over the area, your joints are being compressed down just a little bit, not by a lot, but just enough to where they fit nice and snug where they should be. Now, when you have lower pressure, the joint is able to kind of force outward a bit and expand, and that can sometimes cause maybe some more aches and pains during times of low pressure. And again, especially for people who suffer from arthritis. So the next time your grandma says a storm is coming because she can feel it in her knee, don't be so quick to dismiss grandma's feeling in her knees. All right, so with that strong low pressure we had come in here from yesterday and today, we had some storms yesterday. Now we're looking at snow this morning. Snow is over with. There have been some slide-offs reported early this morning Roads, though, are mostly okay. Roads are still sitting about 35 to 40 degrees, but your bridges and overpasses may be overcome briefly a bit this morning, but we're starting to see some of that snow already start to melt across the area. So this is a live look from our tower camera here at the station in northeast Springfield, and it's very windy. That camera's shaking around just quite a bit. So the snow showers we had this morning are long gone. That's no more an issue for us. We're cloudy for now. We'll see some sun break out, though, later in the afternoon. All right, so our storm risk today is not here. We're not looking at storms. We're looking at a cold winter day and very windy still locally here in the Ozarks. But that storm risk is going to be isolated off to the east coast as that large storm, that very deep, large, dynamic spring storm that came through here swings to the east coast, looking at a severe weather risk across parts of North Carolina, South Carolina, and the Virginias up towards Pennsylvania as well. They're ongoing with that storm risk already as we speak. All right, so that wraps up this edition of Science with Schmidt. What's up next for tomorrow's Science with Schmidt? It's time to get political. We'll look over a proposed storm chasing bill in Oklahoma. Some are calling it an anti-storm chasing bill for one of the most active severe weather states in the country. We'll take a look at that bill and all what it talks about, what the goals are there, proponents for and proponents against. And we'll also discuss the recent layoffs at the NOAA and the National Weather Service offices across the country and what this could mean going forward for the future of weather and forecasting in general. So hope you can join us then. And if you can, you can also find these segments on our website at ozarksfirst.com. Have a Wednesday.